Welcome to another fluid acrylic paint pour with golden fluid acrylic paints. I'm still experimenting on how much white I need to use. This is actually a iridescent pearl type of white, but as you can see on this recent pour that I did, the white really gets lost. So I keep trying to see how much white I need to use to have more contrast in the painting. So what I've done is I've put my iridescent pearl in this cup, a little bit of iridescent pearl in every other cup as well, along with their other color, which is quinacridone magenta for this one, which I also put some phthalo blue to make a purple. And this is just phthalo blue in this one. And this is teal in this cup. And this one is turquoise. And then I put Benjamin Moore paint extender, which looks like this. Here is the jug of it. And it's kind of a milky substance that makes the paint last longer. And the last step that I do, oh, by the way, I only put a few drops, like maybe 4 parts paint, 1 part paint extender in this type of paint. Benjamin Moore paint extender and the golden fluid acrylic paint. The golden fluid acrylic is really high in pigment and is not all that thick to start with, so I don't have to add a lot of that. The last step is to put in a little bit of water with a tiny bit of dish soap in it, like 5 drops or more in each cup. It's not an exact science. This is my second pour today, so I'm kind of anxious to get into it. Sorry if I'm talking too fast. A lot of my other videos take their time in explaining and showing how I mix this stuff, and the fact that I put in push pins on the bottom and I use parchment paper to protect my surface. I even have an oven tin thing under here. So I start with my lightest color first. And I think I'm going to start with this color now. Just a few drops of each color I think is all I'm going to do, and see what happens, because this is an experiment. Almost every painting is an experiment. They all turn out just a little bit differently. But I've been finding that that blue is so strong. I'm going to put some more white on top and see what that does. And maybe some more. This purple color is really pretty, so maybe a little bit more of that. And even more white paint. And then all I'm doing now is just pouring it where I want it. See what comes out of the cup, and then pour it where I want that color. So the white sat right on the bottom, so that's good to note. Didn't blend too much. And if I let the edges drip off naturally like that, I don't have to tip it yet. Often the nicest painting happens naturally without tipping, or with very little tipping. So I try to give it a chance before I alter it with tipping to get the paint to run off the edges. I like this little bit right in here, and I don't want to lose it by tipping all the paint away, so to decide what to do about that. So this is a lot more purple than I would have liked, but it's probably a good thing, because most of the paintings I've done recently have a really blue hue, and this one's quite different. I'd like some more of that teal in there. So I may just go ahead and Make sure some more teal shows up. Make it look a bit more natural by putting a couple drops of that color in there. And this white, I like that there's a lot of white, but it's a lot of white in one spot. So let's see what happens. When that smooths out. I might have to help this a little bit. I'm liking that. That's a lot of bands of color. I'm going to zoom in for you a little bit so you can see that. Push this ahead for you. So there are some cell type things happening because I splotched on that extra color. Let's see what happens if I torch it. It's the soapy water that creates some of these little cells. Creates little pockets of bubbles, and then when I torch it, the bubbles appear as different colors. That's kind of an interesting painting. It's totally different than anything I've done so far. I often go for more of an ocean colors. And this is definitely not ocean colors. And so when you tip it, you can stretch out those bubbles, those cells. You can change the composition of the painting slightly. I always like it to be a little bit off center. I don't want it to be too symmetrical. Although I love symmetry, not in abstract paint pours. And let it flow right over the edge. And then I'll also use my popsicle stick to take the drippings from there and put it on the edge so that it's a nice finished piece. What can you see? I'm going to take it down. Wow. That's a pretty beautiful painting, actually. Look at all that detail. It's like rivers of aqua, rivers of magenta. Yeah, that's a success. I hope you like that, and I hope you try it, and I'll see you next time.